August 17th, 1981, Arthur Lee Jones hired a taxi driver at 12:45 a.m. Immediately after the taxi left the stand, a dispatcher tried to contact him. There was no response. 35 minutes later, the driver was found robbed and shot near his cab, 0.8 of a mile from Jones's home in the Plateau residential area of Mobile, Alabama. This was the first of 2 murders in a span of 3 weeks. I could not find much about Arthur Lee Jones' background. However, I did find out that he started his career in crime when he was 19 from records to indicate so. Shortly after the murder, a man named Shorty Banks saw Jones hire the taxi and described Jones to the police shortly after the murder. Banks recalled Jones wanted to go home. Banks reviewed several photos, was not pointing to anyone in the photos. Jones' photos was not included. 3 weeks later, during lineup, after Jones' capture, Banks immediately recognized Jones as the man he saw. Banks was 5 foot 4 inches and was sitting on an automobile when he saw Jones. He described him as 5'5", 5'6", slightly taller than Banks, but in fact Jones was 5'3", slightly shorter. Jones was represented by 2 attorneys, both who practiced law for 20 years. The first asked to be let go over disagreements with Jones. Instead of being released, he was given assistance by another lawyer who was hired. Jones had no problems from then on. Jones' primary tactic was to attack Banks' idea of him as being the last man to ride with the taxi driver. 2 alibi witnesses say they saw Jones at a local club the night of the murder. Jones claims that several more witnesses were there, but Jones refused to name 3 of them and 4 refused to testify. Court found that the attorney made every attempt to find these people. One potential witness was Bobby Velden. Her lawyers were looking for him. He confirmed that he and Jones were doing a weed sale. He refused to give the attorney his address. Failed to appear before trial despite last-minute attempts. He was never served a subpoena. He died sometime after the trial for September 85. No other witness has been found for the alibi. Jones claims that Banks described him as short, which stereotyped him to be picked as the murderer. He claimed that Banks got the height inaccurate, therefore that made him unreliable being a witness. Therefore, Banks misidentified him. Banks viewed Jones for 5 minutes, misjudged by 2 or 3 inches. The court dismissed it because of that. Jones claims that the jury was not properly instructed to observe this story with accuracy. Shorty's story for that reason, without reason or doubt that Jones was guilty. Jones alleged shortcomings. He cites that one of his attorneys wanted to leave and was denied. His attorneys made no motion to fund a directive for his alibi witnesses. Attorneys failed to request a pause when Bobby Velden did not appear. They failed to make Jones an opening statement, no request for opening or closing statements for that matter. The court saw that the claims of prejudice was false in their eyes. They shut it down and said that he had no issue with the second lawyer that was hired. Plus, they put in the work to find witnesses. Jones never made these claims beforehand. Logan's testimony would have made no difference. Both attorneys objected twice during the trial, and regardless, and the open and closing statements would have made no difference. Now, for the other murder case that got him caught. Robert Mitchell testified that in September of '81, he lived in a mobile home next to the Outdoorsman store. His trailer was 45 yards north. He testified that he was preparing to go to bed at 8:30 p.m. on the 14th when he heard 5 shots. Looking out the window, he saw a man crouched in front of the store and saw him run towards the south end of the store. He described the man as black, wearing a white t-shirt, dark pants, 5'6", and 140 pounds. The man came out into the light carrying a brown paper sack in his left and held a black plastic bag in his right. Grabbing his gun, he went to the store and saw Vagan Thompson laying face down on the ground with a gunshot wound to his head. Mr. Bob Thompson and his wife, the father and mother of the victim, arrived shortly before. He took Mitchell's gun and left in the direction of the suspect. Mr. Bob Thompson's wife had alerted him of gunshots at the store. When they arrived on site, he dropped down to his knees and cradled his son until Mitchell arrived. During the drive, he saw a car driving slow, and when he came close to it, he started to chase it. It eluded him 4 miles into the chase. Although Mr. Thompson could not identify the suspect in court as the one he saw that night, he did say that he saw that man in the store 5 days earlier. Robert Stewart, an officer, said that his bloodhound discovered trash bags with contents related to the crime scene. In the bag were stubs that were titled Arthur Jones on it, with the address 311 Montgomery Street, Mobile, Alabama. On September 16th, Officer Robert Stewart arrived at Jones' home. Jones said that the night of the murder that he was watching a ball game, and when he was asked about his trash, he said that he dumped that during halftime. When Jones was asked about where his car was, he said that he lent it away about 3 weeks ago. During the question, Mr. Jones grew frustrated and he stated, and I quote, "Well, y'all are trying to put me over there at 9 p.m. when the murder happened and I wasn't there. I was here in this apartment." End quote. Upon cross-examination, Officer Stewart stated that a knit pullover cap was cut out eye holes was found not far from his car, about 20 feet. The bag of garbage found showed that Mr. Jones's real name was Abdul on the return address of his residence he was living at, and it also matched up to his pay stubs. Terry J. Malone testified that he was president of Industrial Services and stated that his company wrote stubs out to Arthur Jones. With all that evidence and more, Arthur Lee Jones was found guilty by the court. A man convicted of 2 murders died at the age of 47, pronounced dead at 12:13 a.m. at Holman Prison. The execution came after the Supreme Court, 5-4, refused to delay it. The governor, George C. Wallace, refused to commute it. Inmates rattled the bars until the death was announced. Mr. Jones was visited by relatives. He ate his last meal of salmon, coleslaw, and candied yams, chilled peaches, and a grape drink. He wore a black suit and a white shirt to the chair and made no final statement. Mr. Jones was calm. Also going by the name Abdul, said that he was innocent and framed by police. Being Muslim, he could not kill or steal. He received 2 death sentences, one for killing a William H. Wayman, a 71-year-old cab driver, and another for killing a 21-year-old storekeeper, Vagan Thompson, both on separate trials and robberies in 1981. I'm satisfied with my life. There's nothing wrong with my life. I don't do things most people do. Every time I turn around, they got some cooked-up case with no facts to support them. I don't think I'll ever understand why people would go out of their way to snuff a man out when they know he's not the man that needs snuffing out. Everyone back there expects to be executed. They don't know who is going to be executed first. They got me now, but who knows who they'll be next week. 153 people were executed before Evans. Dating back to 1927, 125 black men and 1 black woman have been executed. 26 white men and 2 white women have been executed. The last black man to be executed before this was 1962. Thank you for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me produce more content for my channel. Stay safe out there. Peace out.